Just as we come to the culmination of the first of two games on the doubleheader, we begin this show. A victory it is for the men from Bangalore by a matter of 6 runs. 6 runs, but it's not as close as it seems. The Punjab team had thrown the game away long before that. They'd let the required rate go way out and don't go by that scorecard. It is a lot more comfortable for Bangalore than it thinks after initially not perhaps scoring as many runs as we would have felt. Well, here we are on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. Just a quick reminder of what's happened in that first game. This is it. These are the numbers. 164 for 7 in 20 overs played, 158 for 6. Despite a partnership, first 10 overs, Agarwal, Rahul, intact. That's what they wanted. Ticked the box for the first half, and then it all went pear-shaped in the second half of that run chase. Punjab missing out on those crucial 2 points. Bangalore now starting to eye a top 2 position, and that should make things very exciting between them, Chennai and Delhi. In the studio, Joy Bhattacharjya, Shaun Pollock, all three of us had lent towards Punjab, 2 in the beginning. By the 10th over, Shaun, you were convinced that they had done enough. What went wrong?
Yeah, well, I think what I discussed at the top is that they needed to have a good opening stand in order to try and chase that down. And then, at the halfway stage, when I moved my allegiances to them winning, I did say that the guys who are at the crease need to have the pressure taken off them, and that the new men coming to the crease couldn't afford to chew up some brawls. Even Markham's performance, he ends up with 20 or 14, but I think he got maybe 13 runs and 4 balls at the back end of his innings. He had a 6 and a 4. And just the timing before Mayank got out, he had gone a little bit slowly. So Mayank was starting to feel the pressure. And those are the small subtleties of the chase where you have to get things right. I think a little bit confused after that. Sarfraz, I couldn't believe when I found out he hasn't played a game in 6 months. And to send him ahead of Shahrukh Khan, you left Shahrukh Khan floating around there, waiting to come in and sort out the trouble. But it was too late once he got to the crease. There was basically nothing much he could do.
Interesting dynamics there, Joy. There was Wasim Jafar, KL Rahul, Shah Rukh Khan and Sarfraz standing there in a huddle. We're not sure who wanted who to go, but at the end of the day, it was Rahul who sort of said, yeah, go on, wicket's fallen, go on.
I think I've seen this very often in teams in this tournament, for the last 7, 8, 10 years. What they say is, okay, you're like my free card. You get out, you don't, you take a few, you get a few runs, it's okay. What they don't understand is if that free card gets out for whatever reason, because they're not in touch, they've not been playing regularly, it's putting even more pressure on the next. So I've seen this done often enough where you put in a batsman saying that even if he gets out, it does not matter. The truth is, it does matter. And it's always better to send an in-touch player. It's not a philosophy that's just Punjab uses. A lot of teams use this, and I don't believe it works. I think it fails much often than it works. And Nicholas Puran, what do I have to say? Once again, that shot at that point in time, you played 7 balls, and the commentators are almost waiting for it. You can hear the entire flow of commentary saying, if he does not throw it away, and of course he throws it away.
So that was the story of it. The batting order, so much. So many stalwarts on that bench, but they couldn't really do anything about it. It'll reflect on the points table. This is 2 points for the taking for them. They did well in the first half of the match. In fact, 3/4 of the match, they'd say that they'd pretty much done all right, despite Glenn Maxwell's innings. Bangalore now get to 16. They get a Q next to their name, but more importantly, they're now in contention for that top 2 spot with Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, each having 2 matches to play. It's all to play for who gets 1 and 2. That's not slipped out of their grasp. Kolkata, Punjab, Rajasthan, Mumbai are all going to scrap, with Punjab having the disadvantage of having just 1 game left to play. And that's going to be huge for them. But looking ahead, there's another game to play. We will, of course, discuss the first game a little bit more in depth at the end of the day. But Kolkata versus Hyderabad is all set to get underway. Hyderabad have won the toss, decided to bat first. As expected, gentlemen, we are getting a few changes in. Let's talk about the much anticipated change for Kolkata, which is Shakib Al Hasan finally makes it in. Whether or not he ends up performing and becoming the game changer as such, Joy, at least he's finally getting in there?
I think he's finally got in there. I think they've realized that they cannot go with the 4.5 bowlers. They just can't go with it. They have to go with 5.5. It's better to have 4.5, 5.5 bowlers and one wicket keeper than 4.5 bowlers and two wicket keepers. I think that's the strategy they're looking at. And I think for that matter, even Venkatesh Iyer will bowl better knowing that he doesn't have to necessarily bowl his 4 overs. So this is a better balanced side. Whether Shakib again has not been playing for a while, but Shakib, to his credit, has at least been playing international cricket fairly regularly. And he's also looking for a run-in before the World Cup because he's a crucial part of Bangladesh's plan. So I see him, he's not perhaps as cold as, say, a Sarfraz Khan would be under these circumstances.
Yeah, he has some, he had a decent outing in the home series that they played. So not completely coming out of the cold. Quick look at Hyderabad. Interesting new name. Could this be yet another name to reckon with for the future? And Umran Malik, lot has been talked about him. He comes into the side. That's the only change. We thought there'd be wholesale changes. Sandeep Sharma goes out. Umran Malik comes in. No place still for Nabi, Mujib or any of them. Shaun, they're obviously still taking it pretty seriously. They want to go out and show that they are the franchise they are.
Yeah, one of the big things as international sportsmen is pride of performance, and to put things right. You obviously are going to fail, but that mental attitude, it's obviously not going to get them through in this tournament. But the mental attitude that we haven't given up, we still want to go out and put our best performances on the table, is reflected in that selection. I don't know Malik. I don't know much about him at all. So I'm interested to see how he goes. But I think it's good. I think it's good that they've held their nerve. If it gets down to the last game, then maybe you can try something. But I still think that the decision to try and go out there and end off with a few victories is important.
Umran Malik, interesting character. Umran Malik is, he's from the state of, or now the Union Territory of Kashmir. And that means that Kashmir, perhaps for the first time in its history, you will have a tournament game in this tournament where 2 players from Kashmir, Abdul Samad and Umran Malik, will be playing in the first 11. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of this tournament. And Umran Malik is an interesting character, very highly rated, but he's played very little. Shaun, he's played 1 first-class game and 1 T20 game. That's it.
Wow.
He's played 1 first-class game and 1 T20 game. They really rate him, but whatever they
is there something unique to something unique about his bowling action?
Not really.
Speed?
Fast bowler. Looks nippy, but nothing that really, nothing which is, he's not got a Malinga or anything like that. But apparently he's impressed in the nets. He looks good. They think he's a long-term prospect. It'll be very interesting. They've thrown him in. I'd like to see where this goes.
Yeah, I think all eyes will be on him. And just in case you like to go left field when you're picking your My 11 Circle teams, not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. He doesn't come at a huge price. So just download the app. If you've already made your team, no problem. You can still change it before that first ball is bowled. Select the second match of the day, which is Hyderabad, Kolkata, and 1 crore is that first prize for you. As I said, the teams have been announced. Shakib's playing. Get him in. Umran Malik, you never know. Why not? Just give it a try. As far as the match is concerned, we also will give our own 3 My 11 Circle smart picks. I've given you 2 extra, so maybe you can count it as 5. These are our My 11 smart picks for today. Rahul Tripathi, Riddhiman Saha and Sunil Narayan. We've got different reasons for that. We'll start with Riddhiman Saha, Joy. And one of the reasons is whether or not the numbers suggest it. Just playing for a franchise that is based in the part of the world where you're from adds a bit of extra spice to it.
Yeah.
Of course, we remember the 100 that he scored against them.
No, there was 100 that he scored against Kolkata, but also while playing for Chennai, that 100 he played, he was playing for Punjab at that point in time. For Chennai, in Chennai, he scored a 90 odd in 45 odd balls. That was absolutely smashing. And yeah, he played the first 3 years for the Kolkata franchise. So there is a little bit of an edge there. Mind you, Riddhiman is as calm a character as you would come across. Very calm, very nice boy. Boy, can he play? And he always likes to stick it in and said, guys, you needed to pick me.
Yep. Glenn Maxwell did it earlier today. Will Riddhiman Saha send a quick message in whatever language he wants to the opposition? The second of our My 11 Circle smart picks, Shaun. And let's go with Rahul Tripathi. Again, he's been an impact player for the men in purple. He's shown exactly what he's capable of. And in the absence of a huge international player at the top, like an Owen Morgan, he's done the job along with Venkatesh Iyer.
Yeah, he has indeed. I think he's been brilliant for them. He's probably been the one that's helped them resurrect how they started. And with Morgan being a little bit untoward and not of his normal caliber, it's been important that he has come good. The responsibility he's had to shoulder in many ways as well, and he keeps delivering. So, good pick. I think he's in good touch. He's feeling confident, and I'm sure he's going to perform again.
Yeah, he's some 345 runs, 349 runs. He's about 50 runs ahead of everyone else in the Kolkata team. So he's their top scorer by a far margin.
And it's one of those things they were not quite sure where to play him. That was, I think, the big key. Now that he's settled in at the top of the order, Joy, this is where he feels he belongs. He used to be lower down the order. He played a great cameo once at number 7, and they thought, can we try him up? And it worked.
Yeah, it was Nitish Rana's spot to lose, and Nitish Rana did lose that spot. But once Rahul Tripathi has taken it over, he's done it. And if you notice, Venkatesh has been giving them runs. Shubman has been inconsistent, so a lot more has fallen upon Rahul Tripathi, and he has been the most consistent Kolkata batsman this season.
Certainly has. And another champion, another international champion is Sunil Narayan. Again, it's not quite been that season with him, particularly with bat in hand this part of the season. But now, look at the difference with ball in hand. Ignore the batting, he's batting too low down the order. Shaun, this is what they really want out of Sunil Narayan. They want the wickets, and they want to keep the opposition in check.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he had to fiddle around a bit with his action. I mean, obviously with all the issues he's had. And I think he's starting to slowly grow in confidence with the new action, being able to hide that ball behind his body as he runs up. He's comfortable with the different variations. The CPL obviously gives him a bit more time to get used to all those kind of things. And you can always throw in a contribution with the bat. Don't shy away from that. Every once in a while he plays a little cameo for us. So once again, I think it's a quality pick, and you can see that he's in form with those figures in the UAE. I think he'll go well again.
Will they miss Lockie Ferguson, Shaun?
Yes. I think he's been good for them. I've liked what I've seen to him. There's a bit of aggression, that bit of attitude at the back end too. It looks like he wants to do the job in the last few overs. And obviously with Russell not being available, I thought, he's definitely going to have to take on the extra shouldered responsibility. But, they will miss him. I've been enjoying his impact. I mean, it took a while to get him in, but once he was in there, I think he really settled in nicely.
Well, two things really to look forward to. One is a brand new face from Kashmir in the Orange Army, and the other, Joy, is Shakib Al Hasan coming in, not because we've been talking about him, but because you've got 5.5 bowlers. I think, is that going to be the key now to Kolkata's change in performance from their last game?
It's going to be the key. And I think one of the other keys is how well, because they're batting first, how well do the Hyderabad players basically play the Kolkata spinners? It's going to be the Hyderabad batsmen versus the Kolkata spinners. That's a big matchup. In fact, one of the reasons Riddhiman is probably a good choice out here is he's a brilliant player of spin. And you'll need, I think, Kolkata, those 12 overs of strangling spin is what you've really got to fight against. And remember, a lot of the other players are relatively young players. People like Priyam Garg, Abhishek Sharma, Abdul Samad. They might get one or two, but Kolkata spinners are very canny spinners. So really, it's up to Kane Williamson, Riddhiman Saha, and the likes of, even Jason Holder to sort of look at those spinners and try and play them out. That's the key to this match for me.
So it's all the bomb connection, Joy. It's Rai and Saha up against Chakraborty, Narayan, and the men from Bangladesh.
Absolutely. Please pardon us, Shaun. We are just like that anyway. Any chance to talk about Bengalis and we lapse into that kind of situation? Forgive us.
But
love it.
That's where we have it. We're going to get a quick prediction as we go out. Shaun, you've been getting back on track with your predictions, and again, this is Dubai. We have to keep reminding ourselves which stadium we're at. This is Dubai.
Yeah.
It's Hyderabad batting with no fear.
I'm gonna go 167.
167 with no fear. Joy, you topping that? You're going lower?
I just think if they get a couple of wickets and those Kolkata spinners get in the middle order, it'll be tough. I'm going to really lowball 138. I'm really going to lowball this.
Ooh, 138, 138. Well, I'll just stick a little bit higher than that. 145, 145. Some sort of recovery somewhere, something for Kolkata to chase. That's what we have for you. We will, of course, review everything on Cricbuzz Combox in the 10th over. We will continue to give all the extras in the world of cricket on Cricbuzz Plus, which if you haven't already, you need to subscribe to and join a huge ever-growing cricketing family. Right here on the show. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, Joy. And we will see you all very shortly. This is Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My11 7.